Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for a crypto highlight video. And if you're interested in any of the services I provide, please check out the links in the description below for both the Patreon and Discord. And if you would like for me to highlight an asset for you, just for you, please check out the links in the description below to become a member of any of my three services, whether it's the tutoring service, day trading service, or the swing trading service. Once you become a member, you can then highlight an asset for me and I'll make an exclusive video just for you. Okay, so recommended by one of the members was CHR USDT. So I believe this is called Chromium. Again, not familiar with this asset at all as well. I'm a little interested in this one because it has a little bit more history than some of the other coins I've looked at, and it's actually coming into a pretty major level on the monthly. So I'm gonna put a couple lines here on the monthly chart just to make things a little clearer. I might get rid of a few, but like I've said in the past, I do these highlight videos pretty naked, so I've made sure not to go past the monthly chart when I turn on like CHR or any of the other highlighted assets, unless of course I'm familiar with them beforehand. But a lot of these are coins I've never even heard of, so you're getting my raw thoughts and you're getting how I look at charts pretty organically, and I like it like that. So I make sure not to look at the lower time frames, and I try not to look at the monthly even when I do the intro. But overall, what I'm seeing here is we're coming into this major level right here. So let's mark this here on the monthly. Let's make this a red line so we know it's off the monthly. So I do red lines for the monthly, blue lines for the daily, and black lines for the weekly. So now we know this is a monthly level to watch out for. We're actually fighting at another monthly level right here. We could pop this on here, but I'm going to keep this. I'm not going to pop this here, this red line here, because I believe it's really close to this monthly level. We'll see how it looks on the weekly. Maybe I'll put a horizontal ray there to kind of highlight where we're trading at. And then off of the monthly, what's interesting is if we hold this top structure, right? So if we hold this consolidation here, so this is like the birth. So we hold the birthing consolidation of where CHR pretty much started, at least when it was listed on Binance. Then we're looking at a macro higher low. So this is why I'm kind of interested in. And look at how we had a really nice impulsive move up, right? We came up from what was this, as low as like a penny to like maybe a little under a penny, getting all the way up to wicking all the way up towards like $1.50, and then selling off from there. And now we're trading at about 11 cents, 11 and a half cents. And what I'm liking here is it's slowing down, right? So you're seeing the selling slowing down. Now it did speed up a little bit right here. So we had these last 2 months had a pretty nice sell-off. Then we had a nice doji on the monthly. And then this candle here, which a lot of this was fueled by FTX guys, so you got to keep that in mind. We had this nice little sell-off, but nothing of the same sort as what we saw these last 3 months here in the springtime of this year. And now, this monthly candle is about 4 days in. It's still very, very tight, so it's too early to tell what's going to be. But I think I'm seeing potentially a slowdown here on the monthly, and we might be seeing at least an attempt to create a higher low on the monthly chart from the ultimate low consolidation here, which would be really, really bullish, guys. Really, really bullish. So it's too soon, of course, to actually chart that, but we can start contemplating that could be a possible roadmap we're on right now. Now let's go down to the weekly and see what this looks like. So the weekly is pretty interesting, and yeah, right where we're trading is at these lows down here. So we have like these 2 wicks right here. You know what? Let's pop this on the chart. So it's really close to the monthly level, but I do want to highlight it. I think it's important, at least for now. So we'll make this a black line so we know it's off of the weekly level. So we can see this as more of like confluence, right? So we have this, the weekly and monthly level right here are super, super tight together. They're super close. So we can see that this level here, this zone, this really small zone, is going to be fairly significant. So we want to at least keep that highlighted. But again, I think it'd be good enough to just have the monthly level there. But I think it's good to see, at least for the video format. Now we had this nice little dump down, and now we've bounced off of that level. We did trade under it for quite a bit, but we're starting to kind of grind up. Now, depending on how we grind up, it can be seen as fairly bearish, but it's a little too soon to get a bias specifically off of these 4 weeks right here. I think I need a little bit more time. This big candle does make me have a little bit of a bearish bias, but I'm not sold just yet. It's getting very, very tight. I'm looking to see if I can see anything else. So I do want to mark this wick right here. So off the weekly. So this is more of like a weekly range now, right? So we have these low wicks, and then we have this low wick, and now it's potentially going to start trading in here, right? Now on the weekly time frame, I do see potential signs of like a bear flag or rising wedge structure forming, though there's not enough data here. There's not enough candles have been printed for me to actually come to that conclusion. But I see this potentially happening. I don't see anything overly bullish here yet, right? So it's not there yet. I mean, this candle was nice, not your strongest bottoming candle, right? Not ideal. Like ideally, what I would have loved to have seen, I would have a lot more conviction that, okay, we might have bottoms for at least a short period of time on the weekly, is that you have a longer wick, maybe a wick towards that monthly level, and then you closed sort of like this, right? So you had that body. So that's like a bottoming tail. That's a very nice candle to see on major support zones. That's not this, unfortunately, so I can't have the same conviction I would if I saw something like that. Let's go down to the daily and see if there's anything else, anything clearer, right? I am potentially seeing something here on the weekly, but I don't think it's actually viable right now. Let's see if it's viable on the daily. I might have to mess around and draw some trend lines here. So before I do that, the daily is interesting. What I like, what I will say to this is, this could be a bear flag structure, but I'm gonna tell you, and this is not just specifically to CHR. I'm watching a lot of these coins. I am running a swing trade service, so I'm always watching a lot of coins. And a lot of these coins have this structure, and the longer we trade like this, the less likely it becomes a flag. So what a lot of people need to understand, especially with triangles in general, the longer you trade these triangles in the structure, specifically bull and bear flags, time is against them. So the longer you see price action trade within a structure that's a bull flag or a bear flag like this, it's not good if it takes price a very long time to validate the structure. The longer it takes, the less likely it is to validate. So I'm starting to see that, and I'm also seeing some signs here short term that we could be starting a small uptrend here. Okay, so we had this nice little drop down, then we had a nice little burst up, took out the liquidity above these wicks here. Okay, and now we're having a nice little consolidation down. Now this consolidation can grind down in a bullish manner, sort of like this. Then we're looking at potential bull flag structure or descending wedge structure to go up higher and making a higher low from these lows down here, and potentially even this low right here. I know it got very messy here, but hopefully you get the idea. We may be looking at the early construction of a change of character here. Okay, now this doesn't mean that it's not going to break down further. It actually looks likely to break down further, but what I'm going to be looking for is a higher low from this double bottom structure here. Okay, so if we get that breakdown and it holds either the weekly low here, so this weekly low, or it breaks down back towards the wicks and holds around this wick level, maybe almost like a triple bottom sort of structure, but more of like a higher low structure, then we'll be looking for a move higher. And we have some levels, I think, that we can start targeting. So we have this fair value gap that's formed right here on the daily. This will be a very early level to watch out for, to price to get to. So around 13 cents, 0.1317. That will be a very early spot for price to get to. And then we could definitely see a rejection there. And that would make sense if we're in a weekly range structure, that we do start seeing price reject here, fail back down, and potentially ping pong between these for some time. Because you got to remember, this is the daily, and this is a potential weekly range structure. So we could trade here for quite some time, especially if Bitcoin's not going to have any massive trending moves, let's say past 18,000 or 19,000. I do see signs for Bitcoin to potentially get towards 18, maybe 18.5. But if it doesn't have a trending move in that direction, and then once it gets to those prices and it slows down, that does make it seem like CHR or something like this could start ranging in a pretty big zone like this. So I'm seeing a range structure forming, and that's actually not a bad sign after this sort of consolidation. Okay, so if we start seeing a range structure after the failure of this consolidation, I'm going to tell you right now, this was a failure, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. This had a bullish bias to it. Okay, so this bullish bias failed, and we broke down. If we start seeing a range here, this to me, I will start flipping more bullish on CHR because it's going to be an attempt, in my opinion, to retake this structure. Now, why am I saying that structure had a bullish bias? Well, in my trading career, which is over a decade now, I've found that bullish structures, in general, again, it's all probabilities. There's no guarantees in trading. Tend to have a descending structure. At least the most probable structures that break bullish tend to have a descending sort of structure. So a bull flag, this would be considered a bull flag, right? So you have price come up and then you have it slowly grind down. That's a very bullish structure. That's the highest probability bull flag you can see. One that's pointed in about 35, 45 degree angle to the downside, okay, in a slow grinding fashion. Same thing with a bear flag or a rising wedge or something, right? So you have price slowly grinds to the upside, and that's how a bear flag or rising wedge structure tends to look, and that's the most probable sort of structure to play out and validate completely. So when I see something like this on the daily, okay, where I can tell you just by looking at this had a bullish bias. So you go from this high wick and pull down to the future, boom, you had a descending wedge structure from this macro downtrend. Okay, this descending wedge structure was designed to break through and start attacking the imbalances to the left here, to start looking for liquidity left behind above these high pivots and any imbalances on the chart. Now, the imbalances I see here, most of them are high swings, like liquidity above this level here, and then we also had a fairly large fair value gap over here. Not huge, but it's fairly big. So this fair value gap up here and one all the way up here. Okay, so you would have likely have seen price make its way up towards these levels, whether it's going to be around this level here, these lows right here. Let me mark this for you. Okay, so around these lows right here, and then potentially these fair value gaps right here. Okay, this would have been what I would have been targeting to see that continuation of the macro downtrend. Okay, so you would have had price come up, fail at potentially this level, but most likely around these levels, and then come back down further. And then whether it would actually make new lows, we'd have to just wait and see. But you would definitely have seen price do something of that nature. That's a very common macro structure. But that's not what happened. We can tell just looking at the date, November 10th, November 11th, around this time, it was when the FTX scandal started breaking through. So a lot of these structures were invalidated because of fundamental issues. And I believe that CHR, this is going to be an attempt potentially, okay, where price, the smart money is going to try and correct this. They're going to attempt to fight back and try and get back into the general range of this structure and then make its way back up. Now we're talking, there's going to be a huge undertaking. It's going to take some time. And again, it can fail, especially if Bitcoin does fail at those levels 18 plus. Then you'll probably see CHR follow suit. But I've seen this in the past. And it's going to be a fight here. So I would not be surprised if you see this range for quite some time, an attempt to break, and then we'll see if they can get that follow through to actually try and attack these levels. Now, for fun, let's see, where will the one-to-one move have been if this did break bullish, like the probabilities would suggest it? I say probably around here. Just for my eyeballs, it probably right back towards this level here. Let's do this trend line here, and we'll pull down to there. Let's make sure it's straight. Yep. Okay. And let's say if the FTX scandal didn't happen, it would have broke through right here. So let's say right here is where it would have broke through. Okay. So yeah, right about the measured move would have been the lows of this swing low, this low wick, and then you would have probably, if it was really bullish, after taking out the liquidity above these levels here and here, you probably would have had some sort of consolidation. Now, it would have been either a bullish consolidation or some sort of bullish retracement, and then you look for that higher low from the break of the wedge and then continuation. Or, if we were going to go bearish, right around that level and continue the macro downtrend, you would have continued the macro downtrend. You probably would have been trading lower than you are now. I am interested in CHR. I do have I have a neutral bias right now, but my red line is actually that monthly line. So if that monthly line gets taken out, I would say wipe your hands of it. It's going down. It's going down hard. Where it's going, don't know, but it's probably going to go down real hard because it'll be very difficult for it to hold these levels back here, in my opinion. Now, it doesn't mean it won't. Okay, it won't, but it probably be extremely difficult because it's losing pretty much its all-time high of 2020, or right around the all-time high of 2020. This was, yeah, so that is the all-time high of 2020, and that coincided with the all-time high of, nope, that was the all-time high. Yeah, 2021's all-time high was right around here. So we're fighting near the 2020 all-time high for CHR. So if it loses that, the next step is this low consolidation down here, which is around, this is 3 cents. Yeah. So the high of this consolidation, we'll actually put this on the chart as well. Let's make this a weekly time frame, because it'll be clear on the weekly as well. So about 3.033, and then the lows of this consolidation is right here at 0.0188. So that's where you will see price probably get to next. And then if it starts losing that, then you're getting back towards pretty much creation, which is right around, it's still right around the same area, so 0.0159. So this is what I would see price getting to if we start losing that monthly level. Okay? So keep in mind, watch this very closely. And again, I don't really see a trade here, as of right now, but I do see it. You can see this as an accumulation, and then you have a pretty low area of invalidation where you can look to, take your money, take your losses, and run. Again, not financial advice, just my opinion. What I'm seeing. But if this does successfully retake this level here, pretty much this consolidation, watch for it to trade in this zone for quite some time as well. It's going to take a lot of fuel to break through these swing highs here, and here if we should actually get to them. Okay, and let's actually let's mark those on the chart as well. So these are daily swing highs that are going to be key levels that if CHR is going to have any impulse higher, that's going to have to deal with, that I think it would have dealt with if it could have actually broken through on its bullish descending wedge structure here, right? And there they are. Those are the levels on the daily, so watch out for those. We also do have this fair value gap on the daily too, so if we should break up higher in the short term, let's say in a couple days to a week or so, here's your next fair value gap that you want to watch out for, and it coincides with the top of the weekly range. It's one of the reasons why I didn't just pop it on the chart. I saw it immediately, but I think the weekly range right here gives you enough information to let you know this is going to be a pretty big level as well. It's going to be pretty hard, and extend out this descending trend line as well into the future. Pull it out, and look here. Okay, so if we can hold this range, this descending trend line here might give us the time where the price will turn, where change of character may happen. If we hold this range and we have a breakthrough, watch potentially if we can find support over this descending trend line and then continue higher, or we come up towards it again and then fail off of it again. If that happens, keep this trend line on your chart, pull it out into the future, and continue to use it not only as your moving resistance, but also as your quick trigger to let you know a major change of character may be occurring. All right, everyone. That is it for CHR's highlight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the content, please give me a like and subscribe, maybe a share or two. And if you have any questions, make sure to join the Discord. It's the easiest way to get in contact with me. And also leave a comment. I try to keep on top of comments as well. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. I love criticism, and I love a pat on the back, so give me both. And again, if you're interested in any of those services I mentioned before, make sure to just click on the links in the description below. It has all the information you need. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you're having a great one. And remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. I love you guys. Take care.